This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Somewhere in 1985,
Please be kind and rewind.
the Dirty 30s.
All that and more.
Let's travel back in time.
Now we're playing with power.
Super Media Bros.
Power off.
No, keep the power on. we got to power through this motherfucker.
Already unplugged it.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
powering all the way back to 1985.
What year is...
What year? What year is it? It's 2020, but we're going to 1985.
I would like to go back to 85.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'm not born yet, but still.
Neither am I, but it would be fun.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 122 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okame.
We're back with Cult Cinema Showdown number 48. Closing in on 50.
Almost, well, actually over the hill at this point, but yeah.
A little bit. Now that means we have watched almost 100 movies. Technically 102 because of the whole four-way.
The four-way.
Which we're going to be doing another one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that one four-way, yeah.
it sounds like a really bad story from a bar. That one four-way ago.
We watched the four-way, right?
Watched a fatal four-way.
We were drunk.
Oh, yeah, we were.
That made it even worse.
Very drunk.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be drunk for this one. We've been waiting to do this one for a very long time. Last year, Keith Ing had sent a Vimeo link. It was a private link to watch Escape from North Korea, but it was under a non-disclosure, no spoiler clause, which a full year later, I mean, it's been a while because this movie's been in production since 2017, and it had a pretty brief run on the indie festival circuit from late 2019 all the way up until the end of March. And it was finally released on YouTube for everybody to enjoy. So we decided, let's do Kung Fury versus Escape from North Korea. For two 30-minute films, they pack a lot of punch.
A lot of fury, yeah.
A lot of fury and a lot of escaping.
Furious escaping.
Yeah.
Now.
But here's the fucked up part, though. I didn't know you hadn't seen Kung Fury yet. And that made me fucking giddy when we were watching this. I was like, oh my God, he's going to love the shit out of this. I'm just sitting there on the couch like, yeah.
Just pop my furious cherry.
Let's get into it then. So Kung Fury. In Miami. Somewhere in Miami. Somewhere in 1985. A weird futuristic battle is happening between Kung Fury himself and a fucking arcade machine.
Yeah, some patron kicked the machine, pissed it off, and it just went on a fucking rampage.
I just love how he's like, fuck you, and the machine's like, fuck you.
Yeah. And it literally shoots lasers out of its arm with it flipping off everybody.
Yeah, the middle finger.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think it's hilarious because of the whole, like, fuck you. Well, fuck you.
Fuck you.
It's just an onslaught. Like, there's really nothing too detailed to get into because they're both such short films. We can just kind of run through and maybe list some of our favorite scenes in the movie. I mean, giving the plots and shit. Kung Fury has to travel back in time to stop Adolf Hitler from becoming the Kung Fury master, Kung Führer.
He basically kills his police chief through a telephone. He calls the police station, and I forgot how he asked. He's like, is this the police? He's like, yeah. Fuck you!
Yeah, fuck the police.
And he shoots a fucking phone, and it shoots through to kill the police chief and like a few other people in the actual like station. And Fury's like, I have to go back to time.
Yeah, I've got to go back in time. Because like the idea is that Kung Fury had a partner before, and his partner was murdered by Kung Fu Master. He was murdered by the Kung Fu Master, who Adolf Hitler was trying to like get the Kung Fu power from, but Fury winds up getting it, and he just does not trust anybody. He's like, I work alone. I don't want a partner. But his fucking potential partner was Triceracop.
Yeah.
It's the funniest fucking shit ever. It's just a humanoid with a Triceratops head.
And hands.
This is the kind of movie that you're in for.
Yeah, he was so proper too. He's like, it's a pleasure to meet you. I am Triceracop.
Yeah, he was just so
He's
happy.
Like, I work alone.
He's one of those, I'm just happy to be here people.
Yeah. And Kung Fury's like freaking Christopher Nolan Batman.
Yeah, he's like, I work alone.
I work alone.
Unless you got a lozenge. I'm gonna need the lozenge.
Furious throat.
He gets together with Hacker Man.
Who is the quintessential mullet-wearing shades, just 80s montage of a character.
Dude, this motherfucker is quintessential 1980s. And he whips up this time-traveling device. But it was funny the way he says, he's like, I need to travel back in time. Well, you're going to need a device that allows you to travel back in time.
I can hack you in time.
So, yeah. So he basically hacks Kung Fury back in time. But I love how when he's going back in time, it's like, years hacked. 1, 2, 3, 4. It just counts. It's like too many years hacked. Machine breaks down and Kung Fury winds up in the Viking Age. And
Well, they're apparently laser raptors.
that shit was hilarious. He just, fuck, laser raptors. I thought they'd gone extinct.
Thousands of years ago.
Yeah, dude.
It was funny the way he reacts. He actually physically reacts when he's like thinking about it. He's like, oh shit, fuck.
Yeah, he gets in fight stance. Fuck. And then he runs into Katana and Barbariana and Thor.
Yeah.
Big goddamn Thor.
With massive pecs.
Your pecs are epic.
Thanks, bro.
I fucking love that shit. And he's just kissing his fucking triceps. His tricepitops.
No, it was just funny. Like the camera focused on his chest for a very long period of time.
Very, very long period of time. His abs, his chest. And I was like, it'd be funny if they just zoomed in. Or they made fun of the fact that he's just got a gigantic dong underneath his fucking leotard or whatever the fuck he's got on. Just, dude.
I wonder why Terry Crews didn't do Thor.
Oh my god, that would have been great. But yeah, so Thor opens his fucking portal to travel him to the fucking Nazi Germany era.
But before we go any further with that part,
Yeah.
Kung Fury decides to stop and introduce this new phone that is the big rage in the 80s. These Viking barbarian women was given his number. And he's like, yes, and you can call on this awesome phone.
Yeah,
and it's like one of those old 80 infomercial like style. He's like talking about, it's like, it has a 100 number speed dial.
It's like it'd fit perfectly in your car.
65 different channels.
It just gives a legitimate ad read. And they just look so confused after the fact. And they're just like, what the fuck? So he gets transported to Nazi Germany. And there's these two dudes arguing over whose mustache is better in German. And it's the funniest fucking thing ever. You're going to cry about it. You know, like
Go cry to your mommy.
It's just bullying them. And then they just kind of look over. Where's the tank? Kung Fury just shows up and just crushes them with a tank.
Thank you.
Yeah, tank you.
That's another thing, too. Like, both these films pun a lot.
Pun Fury.
Yep.
So, inside this giant, endless building, Adolf Hitler is giving this speech about how I am the Kung Fu master and, you know, death to all that oppose us and blah, blah, blah. And in flies the tank, like through the building. And in comes Kung Fury. And in one of the coolest scenes in the movie, it's just like a side scroll shot. It looks like a side scroll beat 'em up game. And he's just fucking people up left and right, kicking their asses and taking names.
But before that, though, he grabs one of the guy's arms like, I'm going to disarm you.
God damn it. Yeah. And
Rips his arm off, and he puts it on something, and it like turns to a helicopter blade, and he starts flying through the air and shoots people.
God damn it. Yeah, this movie is so over the top. At one point, when because he kills this arcade machine, we forgot to mention, he kills this arcade machine in the beginning of the movie, and he's flying through the air in his fucking car, but he's jumped onto the top of the car, and he's gliding the car down while he's shooting it, and just crashes it into the arcade machine. That's the kind of movie this is.
Also, before, when he was time traveling, he was surfing on a keyboard. And they had like two perspectives. It was Hacker Man's perspective from the computer screen, and it was Kung Fury's perspective when he was actually traveling through the World Wide Web. And he was doing like the green screen, like surfing in the grid and everything. But Hacker Man's version was really cool because it had like the old like Super NES looking style graphics, and it was just like do 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 do
It's good shit. I mean, he even wore the power glove.
Which was fucking awesome.
Right. But yeah, he starts beating ass everywhere. Then along comes everybody else that he just finished leaving. I mean, Thor shows up. This giant fucking T-Rex that they ride on shows up.
He gets shot, by the way, by Adolf. He goes through most of his, well, not most of it, a good few people of his like army. And he has a freaking Gatling gun pop out of his stand that he's speaking from. Mows most of his people down, and Fury. Fury ends up dying, and he goes into this afterlife.
It looks like the G.I. Joe animation.
Yeah. And he comes across these flying snakes.
The cobras. Because he got his powers from the Kung Fu Master, because he got hit by lightning and bit by a cobra.
Right. So, swoops in this cobra. He's like, "Who are you?" "I am Cobra." He's like, "Where am I?" He's like, "Well, you're in heaven because you're dead."
No, he looks around and he's just like, "But it looks so real." And the cobra's like, "No, yes, it is real." So that's the point where you just like, "God damn it, yes."
So at this point, Kung Fury's pissed because "I need you to bring me back to Earth pronto." He's like, "I can't do that because you're dead."
Because you're dead.
And he just goes fucking apeshit. He's like, "You're under arrest."
Yeah, then he just sends him back anyway because he's like, "Fuck, I'm a snake. I can't be arrested."
He's like, "You're obstructing the law."
"Oh, yeah."
And he goes to fucking kick the cobra, and he gets transported back, and it's like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Hacker Man pops up. He's like, "I hacked all the bullets out of your body."
Yeah.
"Oh, thanks, bro."
Right? And then everybody shows up, like the T-Rex shows up, Thor fucking shows up, the girls show up, and Triceratops shows up, and they all just start beating everybody's ass. And it was so funny because at one point, the big iron eagle that's on Hitler's podium comes to life and starts fighting the T-Rex. And it's hilarious because the eagle is on its back at one point and it's kicking its talons at him, and the T-Rex's short-ass arms, they're doing like that thing where people fight with each other and
they do that, like, that girly slap,
that slap fight, and they're just they're slapping the piss out of each other's hands. It's so dumb, but it's the best ever. But anyway, yeah, so he winds up kicking Hitler's ass, and everybody's happy, like, "Oh, we fucking stopped Hitler, blah, blah, blah." And
well, let's not forget how Hitler gets taken out. So Hitler falls, the eagle swoops in as Thor is striking down on Hitler and eliminates both of them. Like, there's no trace, but basically a perfect print of the hammer. And they're like, "Yeah, that means he's dead." Basically.
He's dead.
There's no trace of him at all. But they're all like doing that corny like laugh line. We're like, "Oh, ha ha ha," because there was a pun that he made. I forgot what it was.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Oh either. Yeah, I remember now. I got you. He's like, "Yeah, I gotta go back to the office because there's a lot of paperwork." Yeah.
But what I loved about that scene too was when he fucking punches Hitler in the balls, and he just flies straight up in the fucking air, dude. It's like, that's the good old Johnny Cage uppercut right to the sack. It just flies up in the air.
Let's not forget that one guy he hits his head off, and then he like flies into the eagle's wing.
Oh,
in the shape of a swastika.
Oh yeah, he smashes into it. And then when Triceratops shows up, he was literally shooting every Nazi in the dick.
Yeah, I think one of them screamed like "my dick" in German or something.
Yeah, he did. But what I liked the most is the one dude that tried to cover his dick. He shot him in both shoulders so he would move his arms. Then he shot him in the dick. Oh, that's the other thing too, is that Triceratops and Kung Fury wind up becoming partners or whatever, because Kung Fury like loosens up his distrust and he's just like, "Oh, you're the best damn partner I've ever had."
It's like, "I came back in time for you, Fury, because I love you."
It's like the whole Terminator thing where he's like, "I came back in time for you, Sarah. I love you. I've always loved you." Yeah. It's just like, oh God, dude. But I mean, yeah, and he goes, and it makes me laugh though, because the next shot is literally 2 days earlier in the future. And we're back to the beginning of the movie with the whole arcade machine fight. And the arcade machine winds up having a swastika sticker on it. And Kung Fury's like, "I know that symbol. I've seen it before."
And in a random alleyway somewhere in the streets, Hitler pops up from Thor's power with the eagle and is like, "Oh, that's how it happened. Okay.
He's still alive."
He got transported into the future.
into the future.
Somewhere in Miami.
1985. And that's essentially Kung Fury. We know what you're thinking. Guys, that was short. This is a 30-minute movie. Both of these movies are 30 minutes apiece.
It was definitely worth 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not a lot to go through, but definitely, because they're both on YouTube, you can watch them. It's going to take just an hour of your time, nothing more. Just like we will. We may not even make it an hour, though. Now let's jump to Escape from North Korea.
Let's escape Kung Fury and, go to Korea.
Somewhere in 1985. Somewhere else in 1985.
Around the world.
Dude, I'm telling you, what if both of these movies legit took place at the same time?
They're both in the futuristic 1985, so.
There needs to be a crossover.
Yeah. Furious escape.
Yeah, the furious escape from Korea.
Mm-hmm.
That will never go over, but
North Miami.
Escape from North Miami, where there's nothing but cocaine ninjas and biker gangs and dragon sound. Anyway,
friends forever,
loyalty and honesty. Escape from North Korea is also a love letter to that era of movies and music. I forgot to mention earlier for Kung Fury that Laser Unicorns, the studio that had done it, had Mitch Murder come in and do some of the soundtrack work. Hell, they even got David Hasselhoff to be the voice of the fucking car.
Yeah, the Hassel 9000.
The Hoff 9000.
Yeah, Hoff 9000.
And he actually had done a song for the soundtrack or for the movie or whatever. Escape from North Korea managed to land Pilot to score this film.
Which is fucking awesome as hell.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember if we actually talked about this on one of the Pilot review episodes we did a few years ago.
I don't think so, because we haven't really touched much on that part.
Well, the movie had been in production since 2017. So for the last 3 years, been waiting on this motherfucker to come out. Pilot being the guy scoring the soundtrack was something that was an early release. Like, oh, this is what we were doing with the soundtrack. We're getting Pilot to score it. And oh boy, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
So the plot of Escape from North Korea is that the president's daughter from the United States is kidnapped by the supreme leader of North Korea.
While she was hiking
Yeah.
in Korea.
Yeah, Dad. Yes, honey. I think I'm going to go hiking. Oh, that's nice. Where? North Korea. Okay, be safe. Just really do you really want to go there?
Just nonchalant,
Yeah, okay, be safe.
I guess back then Korea wasn't that big of a deal.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
It's pretty much a big deal in this 1985.
Yeah.
Again, we're faced with a cop and a partner being murdered because Russell Kang, the man assigned to go get the president's daughter, also has had his partner murdered because he was the guy that originally was being sent to get the daughter from North Korea.
He was killed in action.
I love how he was like, he was more than just my partner. He was my friend. Yeah, he was like my brother.
Yeah. Like, I was waiting for it to go a little bit higher level there, but, it's okay.
Oh my God, it was funny as shit, though, because he just...
It wasn't just my partner. He was my lover.
Right? Because there's a cutaway scene that comes into play there. It's kind of funny, where he's looking at him, and he tosses him ice cream, and he's like, Rocky Road? It's like my favorite. It's really corny, but I like the way they showed the other 4 people that failed, and then Kang and then Brunswick next to each other, and it looked like a choose your fighter screen from a video game.
Like Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Yeah, it was really neat. So they showed an X over him where they're like, oh yeah, he died 3 days ago doing this very mission. And he just dives out of a jet, and he's just like, what did he say? He said something about, do you have enough time, or can you make it in time?
Time's the only thing I don't kill.
Yeah. Good shit. Good one-liners in this one, too.
Yeah.
So he dives out of the jet, and there's a bunch of these, flying laser grid targets that he's having to, shoot through and dodge. And in the midst of all this, we get hit with a fucking kick-ass title card. Full grid, full-blown music, and just... it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's quintessential 80s.
Yeah.
Like that retro wave and synth wave.
It's just good. I fucking love this shit. He lands on top of the Kyuyong Hotel. And then he fucking, when he lands, this is for America. He just takes these 2 inept fucking guards out that are arguing about, our supreme leader can lift over 2,000 kilograms. Easily. It's more than you'll ever bench in your life. I heard he could do 4. They're just, 10 typical
Stupid banter.
stupid grunt villain banter. He kills the shit out of him.
Yeah, he throws a ninja star in one of them. It's like, you got something in your eye.
Stupid.
It's like classic.
Yeah, dude. Just the one-liners in general are fucking great. He blows the fuck up. So he's essentially taking this elevator to different levels in this building, and they're called arenas, right? It's just like Arena 1, and you can tell like there's all kinds of different. It's just an homage to a bunch of different eras from like 85 onward, because like the villain that he's got in the first arena just is basically Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
It's just Cyber Raiden, because he has like this jet engine hat shaped like Raiden's basically, and then it's all powered by electricity, but he's just suited up basically up to, basically his face is exposed and stuff like that. And he'll charge his hat with his own arms and like shoot these beams out of the top of his hat, which is pretty fucking cool. He ends up trying to figure out how to defeat him, and he sees these power cords plugged in through all of the wall, and he grabs one of them. And he's like, I'm going to steal your thunder.
Yeah.
He tosses that one cord into the sprinkler system, and it like shorts him out and kills him like in the big ass like blood explosion.
Yeah, he gets toasted.
Yeah. And then electricity hits one of the fans on the wall, and it lets out this like shelf, and it's like a power-up shelf whenever like you beat the level. And he's like, director, what is this? He's like, I've heard of these boxes. He's like, they look like
they're toaster-sized devices.
Yeah, and it's basically old NES cartridge boxes, like those big system boxes.
Yeah, it's the NES console.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Like
and
3 of them,
and it has like an icon on each one. It has like a yin yang symbol on one. There's a like arrow for speed for another one. I can't remember the other symbol. It was like an explosion or something. But he's like, yeah, it's supposed to enhance your abilities based on, which one it is, but they're not FDA approved. And he's like, I don't have time, basically. So he picks one, he shoves a cartridge into the yin yang one, and he starts like getting the power up, basically. And he goes to the next arena, and he's like, that didn't feel good at all.
Yeah, because he starts fighting this one dude who basically, if I had to compare this fight to anything, it's kind of like the Matrix in a way, but the dude that he's fighting has this suit that looks like Uma Thurman's jumpsuit in Kill Bill Volume 1. And he's just like, when do my powers kick in? And the dude fucking gives him his double axe handle to the head. And then there's a shot that zooms through his skull into his DNA and his bloodstream. And you can tell that some sort of power is awakened within him. So he just starts wrecking this dude's ass 9 ways a Sunday.
He's like, everything is finally balanced.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting there, okay, Thanos, just to snap and kick his ass.
But yeah, this guy is basically a Korean Quicksilver. He's fighting.
Right? It just you made me laugh when you said that when we were watching it. He's like, Korean Quicksilver. It's like, oh my fucking God, yes.
But yeah, he ends up taking that dude down, and he goes up to the next arena. And he sees his partner is inside this tube hooked up with like cables and stuff. And he's like, Brunswick, what happened to you?
Nah, I fucking love that. He's just like, home? Yeah, Washington. We're going to get you back to Washington. Home. But this is my home now. Korea is my home.
Washington is... How do you
said
say?
Washington is nothing but puppets.
No, he said something else. It's like something puppets.
Yeah, he was or mindless puppets or something like that.
Yeah, it was just like taking a shot at Washington, which is obviously true.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Korea has made me better, stronger.
I can bench 200 kilograms. Or no, he said right at home, right next to our supreme leader, he benches 2,000 kilograms.
He's like, that doesn't make any sense. You're using the metric system now?
Yeah, he's like, what have they done to you? You're using the metric system now.
Yeah, it was so fucking stupid.
But, dude, Brunswick winds up morphing into this really fucked up monster. Kind of like Swamp Thing meets the Nemesis program from Resident Evil. That's the best way I could describe it, honestly.
I was thinking Resident Evil when I saw it, too.
And they fight each other, and he's kind of doing the thing where he's trying to get into his mind. He's like, remember the mission, remember the mission. Well, he winds up knocking Brunswick out. Well, you think he's dead, but he's not dead. He just knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Then we get to the penthouse.
Which is basically just a CGI jungle.
I mean, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
He finds Tracy, which is the president's daughter, tied to a tree, and he kills this dude in a gorilla suit. And then you just hear, cut! God damn it, cut!
You just killed our villain.
Yeah, you're ruining our shot. You just killed our fucking villain. We need a new villain. And I loved Tracy's response. She was like, that was like the 97th take. You basically just put him out of his misery. And
if you don't get me out of here, you have to put me out of mine.
Yeah, his whole camera crew's like dragging the body away. And it's basically, what was it, Kim Jong-un or Kim, whatever?
Just Kim, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's supposed to basically be like poking fun at the country and everything. But it's funny because he's like, Kim, we're done here. Like, it's just a whole like good guy versus bad guy. But it's funny the way he comes out. He's just like, dude, look, okay, I realize you're here to rescue her, but if you just let me get this shot and then you can have her. It's just so funny. Because Kang is just like, what do you say? I'm done waiting. I have time to wait. And he fucking tries to shoot him, and then Kim grabs the gun and bends it. He's like, what? He just drops it. And oh, here we go.
Yep. The hologram goes away because I think he like hits him or something.
Yeah, he punches Kim completely through the jungle and out of the simulation, which the simulation dies out. And out of nowhere, we get an Aliens tribute because here comes Kim in a full-blown yellow mech suit.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Yeah, dude. Full-blown and everything. Just fucking walks up to him in his mech suit and just starts like...
This guy is just full-on yellow mech suit with these fucking cargo... well, not cargo shorts, like khaki shorts. And slip-ons.
He's like walking around in socks and sandals with like some shorty shorts on.
Just mowing this dude down with a flamethrower and a fucking laser blaster on hand.
With sunglasses on, too.
It was so fucking stupid, but it was funny at the same time. But yeah, he had this force field that he kept getting hit. It would knock his, force field percentage down. And Kang broke the laser off his arm and started to shoot him with it, which didn't do much. And he got grabbed by the claw. Then Tracy picked up the gun and was like starting to do the little one-liner and shooting at him and stuff like that. Well, out of nowhere, Brunswick just comes like, just charges at him and starts doing like the fucking haymaker hammer down, fist on him, just breaking the shield and shit. Kang and Tracy leave and he turns around and goes, Brunswick. Brunswick turns around and goes, Rocky Road.
Total Goonies tribute,
yeah.
Man.
And then hits the trip mine that Kang hit right behind Kim, blows that little section of the room up, and the duo ends up going into this garage, basically, where it's nothing but, like DeLorean-looking cars and just 80s style, bodies and chassis and stuff like that.
I fucking love that it's not even the DeLorean, dude.
Yeah, they pick one. It's called the Korean.
The Korean.
Yeah. So Kim pushes on the console this protocol to where it goes. The hotel basically went into space while they were doing all this, by the way, so we forgot to mention that. And it makes the spaceship go into Hollywood.
Yeah, because Kim was like, it's time for my final act. And he punches the code in. He's going to blow the fuck up out of Los Angeles and Hollywood.
And it was funny, like, while he was sliding down, his middle finger was, like, flipping off the camera a little bit.
Yeah, and then Kang, he punches in, and he's just like, we have to initiate the Liberty Protocol. But I've only ever done this in a simulation. And then Tracy's like, I'm well trained in the Liberty Protocol, and he doesn't trust her to do it. And then finally she's just like, you need to trust me. I know this program. So this fucking needle, like the top of this fucking thing, it just looks like a giant pyramid flying through Hollywood, blowing shit up. And they drive out of this thing in the DeLorean, land on a roof, and she activates the Liberty Protocol, which is essentially just the Statue of Liberty that turns into a mech robot, flies from New York to LA, like in a split fucking second.
Mach speed, yeah.
And this thing just annihilates the fuck out of this space prism, is what I'm just going to call it. It just annihilates the fuck out of this thing.
Yeah, it fucking goes full Gundam with a sword. Like, it slices, like, the whole thing in half and it explodes.
That's basically, like, the end of that shit. And on the rooftop, Kang is just like, wow, it's very impressive. And he's like, I'd like you to take me back to my dojo and show me some of those moves sometime. She's like, how about dinner first? And it's just like, the kind of, happy ending. And it's the end. Or is it?
Yeah.
Because one of the funniest fucking parts about this is that Kim is not dead. Kim comes out of this rubbish. And while the credits are rolling with the music that Pilot has scored, the guitar solo kicks in, but Kim picks this fucking Fender Stratocaster up out of the ground.
Did he pick it up or did it fly into his hand like Mjolnir?
It's something, dude. Like, this guitar just appears in his hands, and he fucking just starts shredding the guitar solo and replenishing his health. But it's so fucking hilarious how they did it. And that's Escape from North Korea. And both of these movies absolutely belong anywhere in your collection of cult films. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Escape from North Korea just fucking came out, but that just is instant cult status right there. That movie is instant cult status, just as Kung Fury was.
I mean, they're basically like the same film with just different like stories and shit. Because they have so many different elements that they edited these films with that are used in both films, like the VHS tracking. Whenever like Homeboy with the Quicksilver dude, whenever he was going so fast, you can actually see the VHS tracking starting to like try to catch up. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
And then in Kung Fury, every now and then, like, you know how when the actual tracking hits, that warbles the sound, like the audio?
Yeah.
It would do that too. It's like,
yeah, like the sound warps and the scenes will cut ahead a little bit and stuff. It's really neat, though.
Yeah, I just love everything about both these films. And I was telling Richie before we watched them, I was like, this is, again, one of those few that just, they're so neck and neck, like how awesome they are and how good this part was and that part was. Like, I don't know how to choose because, like I stated earlier, both these films are almost identical, minus just a few things here and there that are different.
They're both Kickstarted films. They both had a very limited, I say limited, they had a smaller crew that worked on it. I know for a fact, looking into Escape from North Korea over the last 3 years, that most of these effects were done in-house. And then Keith Ing, who directed the film and starred as Russell Kang, he hired, different sources to do the post-production effects like months later. And it wound up coming out really well. In fact, he quit his job, dude, at NBC to make this movie. Like, full-blown just quit to make this, to pursue this.
Very nice.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't pick a winner out of these two. Like, I was really adamant about, like, yeah, let's go ahead and try to do it, but it's so damn impossible with this one. Mm-hmm. It really is. They both fucking win in my book.
Yeah.
They're both. This episode is basically a giant appreciation for two films that shouldn't have had any business being made. And I don't mean that like, oh, this is bad, but like, they're not bad. Like, the fact that they're this good on the budgets they had no business being this fucking good. And they kicked so much ass.
I mean, also, you have Hasselhoff and Pilot with the music. It's like, come on.
Yeah, dude. Like,
you can't beat that.
Yeah, no shit. In fact, like, Kung Fury caught on at such a high level that they did a full-blown sequel, and there's like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger is playing the president in the sequel, dude. Same team, that did the first one. So with a bigger budget, they're going to be able to do the shit they wanted to do. They may keep the original styling, but fuck, they're going to be able to do so much more. So I'm looking forward to that sequel. And fuck, dude, Escape from North Korea deserves every bit of praise it's gotten from the indie circuit that it went through, as far as like all the film circuits and the festival circuits. And I mean, fuck, dude, I've got nothing but high praise for both of these movies.
Same.
Thank everybody on both of these teams for making tremendous love letters to 80s action films and music, and just fuck. It's a jizz fest.
Yeah, just 80s aesthetics, video game, music, whatever you want to consider it. It's, just one big love letter to both, on both of them.
Both of these movies are out on YouTube. If you scroll into the show notes below, we will provide links to both films. Watch them, enjoy them, share them with your friends. They're there for free. Like, both filmmakers said, fuck it, we're putting these movies out online for everybody to enjoy. And especially in the times we're in right now, you could use a little entertainment like this. So,
what was the song called? Action Hero?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
But yeah, dude, that's all I've got for these.
Yeah.
So, we talked about this a little earlier. I think it needs to be done. I'm sure you probably feel the same way to some degree. Of all things that have come back, fucking Derek Savage has decided, hey, we're going to just continue on with the 420 Awards for a second year. But again, due to events that are happening in the world right now, could not do it in a venue because Las Vegas is shut down.
Yep.
So this man has done the 420 Awards in the confines of his bedroom. And I'm telling you this because, like, I wish you guys could see Cody's face right now. It's just that, like, I fucking knew it, this bastard. I think next week we will probably watch and just talk about how ridiculous this is and why this is happening. And just
Are we sure it's in his actual bedroom? Or it's in someone's bedroom?
It's in the room that he's probably still renting.
Yeah. That he's confined to.
Oh my God.
quarantine-wise.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's so bad.
Like if you think him being crazy on his own is bad enough, just imagine what cabin fever being quarantined is going to do to this man. He's probably going to start creating people in his mind thinking they're there and they're not actually there. So when he films this shit, it's like, oh, and here's my friend so-and-so, and there's nobody on the screen.
That's literally what's happening. I'm telling you, dude. But I think, yeah, next week, that's going to be something to look forward to, even though we won't be in, April anymore. Just the 420 Awards, again, we talked about this last year. We'll talk about it again this year. It's a shorter watch, thank fuck, but still. That'll be something. And on that note, I'd say let's roll. Get out of here.
And let's power down.
Let's power down. Power gloves off. Just that's it. That was Kung Fury versus Escape from North Korea.
My hand is sweaty.
My hands are sweaty too. Until next week, I've been Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okami.
Power gloves off.
We're off.